Colin.
Thank you, Chair Gilfus. So just a couple general updates. I'll mention later a reminder about town meeting, but on that note, just want to remind folks that there is a plethora of information available on the town's website relative to all the warrant articles, but specifically about the fire station and building committee. Last week, we updated the frequently asked questions that we published 2 weeks ago. It's a pinned post on tyngsborough.gov, but you can also get it through the fire station's page. We also have gotten quite a few questions about Article 17, which is the sewer borrowing question. So we added a frequently asked questions related specifically to that sewer one on the town website just before the meeting today. So if you get questions from residents about what it would do, there is a frequently asked questions there. We shared on social media, so hopefully that gets the word out. Last week, Sean and I met with Colonial Power Group, which is the third party that manages our energy aggregation program. As you know, this is the program that allows us to offer lower supply rates on electricity for residents. Currently, the National Grid basic rate is at just about 16 cents per kilowatt hour, while residents who are enrolled in our optional aggregation are seeing a supply rate through a company called First Point Power of just about 13 cents per kilowatt hour. That contract expires at the end of October, so this is when we start refreshing the rates and executing a rate as soon as it's advantageous. However, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now, specifically in the energy markets. So we've refreshed the rates twice now and they're not favorable. So we're going to continue to refresh the rates. As a reminder, the only way the program works is by the rate being lower than National Grid. So we will only sign a contract at a rate that's lower than National Grid. We're just hoping to get the lowest possible rate. So I envision that if by the end of July we haven't found anything substantially good, we'll probably be before you looking to approve a contract. There are options that we have. We can do just a 1-year contract. Last time we did 3 years because the rate was good. But I just wanted to let you know that we're actively looking at that. And as soon as the rates are clear, we will have one before you to present. Dennis Page and Dave Trahan will hold preliminary meetings with the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board in May to review the proposed Friendly 40B project that they presented to you back in February. As a reminder, this proposal would seek to develop age-restricted units of housing on Middlesex Road at 352 Middlesex. The rear of the property would see 28 townhouse-style home ownership units restricted to residents age 55 plus, while the front of the property would see 16 one-bedroom rental units in a single structure on the front of the property that would also have 2,200 square feet of commercial space. We talked about developing a mixed-use building there. All of the units would be age-restricted with 7 affordable units on the homeowner side and 4 units on the rental side. As a result, all 16 rental units would be added to our SHI on top of these 7 affordable homeownership. On top of helping the SHI, which we've talked about in the context of ADUs, wanting to make sure that we build that up to really protect ourselves, an early estimate, because they haven't gotten plans approved by anybody yet, but based on their initial design, we expect that that project alone would generate about $200,000 in new growth, which for the minimal impact it will have, it's on a state road, you're talking age restricted, so you're not adding any school-age children, would be a good win for the town, in my opinion. And this board, of course, was supportive of it. I want to take a minute to highlight one of the small ways that our Department of Public Works is working to address longstanding challenges with limited staffing and resources. Prior to the town forming a DPW, we relied almost entirely on outside contractors for drainage and culvert repairs. Those projects are costly, they're dependent on capital funding or grant funding, and when we use grant funding, we're often being forced to design the most expensive culvert to meet the highest standards, which makes it, oftentimes you'll see that we get a design grant, we get it to 100% design, but then without additional state funds, we can't afford to actually construct it because in order to use the state design money, you've got to design it to a magnificent structure. So over the last 2 years, though, what we've done is increase the number of projects that we're handling in-house, because as you hear all the time, I'm sure culverts across town are failing. Think Dunstable Road, Redgate. We have not added staffing to DPW in the last 20 years. They like to remind me that they're down one person from the late 1990s, but by forming the DPW, we've been able to leverage resources from other divisions, which has allowed us to be far more effective. So on that end, last week, the DPW took a break from their traditional spring cleanup tasks to remove a failed drainage pipe that went under Coburn Road by the Lakeview School. They replaced that with a new one, and they were able to repair the road. This not only allows the water from one side of the road to flow, but because the pipe is brand new under the road, it's going to prevent the road from washing away, which unfortunately is what we see the longer we ignore failed culverts and drainage pipes. We did all this without hiring subs. We used existing staff. All we had to do was buy the equipment. So I know that we're in road complaint season because we've got out of the winter, roads are torn up. But I wanted to just demonstrate that with what we have, the limited resources, no additional budget increase, no additional staffing, we are trying to address as much as we can. And this one culvert project, I think, was a great example of it. A reminder that the annual town election will take place on Tuesday, May 19th. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and voting will take place at the middle school for folks that live on the east side of the bridge and at the elementary school if you live on the west side. You can find your precinct and learn about early voting. There'll be early voting for the week leading up to the town election, as well as how to vote absentee by visiting tyngsborough.ma.gov. I'm happy to share that we have 2 new employees joining us here at Town Hall. Ada Sierra joined our team today as the administrative assistant in our Veteran Services office. Ada comes to us with municipal experience, having worked for the city of Malden for the last 4 years. Ada will now assist veterans here in Tyngsborough and Drake as a part of our new shared VSO program. Additionally, we're happy to have Kerry Sands join our team today as a regional health inspector, serving the 4 communities in the health coalition that Tyngsborough leads. Kerry has a Master of Public Health degree from Boston University and has more than 5 years of experience in epidemiology and public health across public and private sectors. Just a few upcoming events and reminders. The Sustainability Committee will host the Spring Zero Waste Day on Saturday, May 2nd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the elementary school. Local reuse and recycling organizations will be on hand to accept your durable goods and put them to use again or get them recycled if they're at the end of their life. We do accept residents from all towns. There will be vendors accepting electronics, small appliances, textiles, books, generally used furniture and home goods, bikes, bike parts, scrap metal, and much more. You can find a comprehensive list of accepted items at tyngsborough.ma.gov. The Conservation Commission will host its 7th Annual Trails Day on Saturday, May 2nd from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. This year it'll be on the Bell property, which is right across from Town Hall, so there's plenty of parking here at Town Hall. You can learn more about getting involved in this fun event by visiting tyngsborough.ma.gov or contacting the Conservation Department by calling 978-649-2300 extension 119. As we all know, town meeting will take place a week from tomorrow. That's Tuesday, May 5th at 7 p.m. at the elementary school. Childcare will be provided as usual, and the senior van will run a special trip for those that are interested. If you're interested in using the senior van, you must register by April 29th, so that's Wednesday afternoon. That allows us to build the route and, if necessary, have 2 buses. And then on that same note, tomorrow night in this very room at 6 p.m. is pre-town meeting. That's just an informal opportunity for us to present the warrant articles and answer any questions people have. There's no debating that takes place during pre-town meeting, and there's no votes. So if you don't have any questions, you just show up to town meeting on Tuesday the 5th. But if you have any questions, I'd encourage you to come tomorrow night. We'll do our traditional fire station building committee presentation, and we'll explain every other warrant on the article. The Friends of the Tyngsborough Public Library will host their annual book sale benefiting the library on Saturday, May 16th from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Members of the Friends can take advantage of the early bird entrance from 8 a.m. to 8:30. The book sale takes place right here in the community room at Town Hall. And then finally, we'll host our annual Memorial Day program on Monday, May 25th, 2026, beginning at 9 a.m. in the town center. We'll conduct the traditional motorcade, visiting all the town cemeteries and honoring our veterans with a solemn salute at each. Residents are invited to participate in the motorcade, and if you're interested, you should arrive on Winslow Road around 8:30 a.m. If you'd like to participate in the event but can't do the whole motorcade, we traditionally end at the Memorial Cemetery about 10:15 a.m. And so if you want to catch one of the salutes, we would encourage you to do that. And then we encourage everyone to stop by the American Legion afterwards, which has a whole day of events planned. It'll give them an opportunity to show off their still relatively new building, and they're hosting a few community events.
And just briefly, we received this week a request for comment from the planning board regarding 137 Pawtucket Boulevard. The applicant at that location plans to raise the existing structure and construct a new single-family dwelling in a floodplain overlay district. Typically, the board generally does not comment. I just mention it now for your awareness. However, if you wanted to discuss it further, we could add it to your agenda for May 11th. Thank you.